and into the bright sunlight. He had been asleep all the winter. Now it was spring again, and he was very hungry.
He was very hungry. There's another word. You missed it.
Hey,
Very hungry.
I'm just a bit itchy.
Okay.
Indeed.
Yes. That's all. Next page.
The bear pulled, plodded
Mhm.
along through the forest, eating new green leaves from the branches, bushes, insects and mice, and ground squirrels, and ran about in the long grass. Let's go spot all of those things. Leaves,
Mhm.
mice. Do you spot mice?
I can see some mice. Yes, and ground
Squirrels.
squirrels.
Then the insects.
Mm.
Did you spot the insects?
No, you're much more clever than I.
Yeah, at first I couldn't spot the insects.
Okay. Read on.
They're really hard to see
Read on, honey.
because they look like grass.
See on this page up here.
One little ground squirrel put its head up out of the rocks, but quickly appeared down into its hole. Then when it saw the bear.
The bear. There's a bear.
He's angry.
Do you think? Okay, let's read. Let's find out.
By now, the bear was feeling more and more hungry. He was feeling grumpy too. That's why he has a grumpy face. Few leaves and insects were not
enough
food for a large brown bear. He had to find something
else
to eat. Soon he made his way down to the river. A fish would make a good meal.
A fish would make a good meal.
But just as the bear caught a fish, a bee began to buzz around his ear.
His head.
The bear shook his head, and the fish slipped out of his paw. The bee buzzed around the bear's head again. This time it stung him right on the end of his nose. That would hurt. The bear was angry. He didn't like being stung on the nose, and he didn't like losing his smell.
His
Meal.
eel. Mhm.
The bear was so hungry,
It's not hungry. It's angry.
that he crushed
Ace.
the bee. He ran through the long grass and into the forest. The bee appeared into a hollow log. The bear began to ache attack the log. He snatched,
I think it's scratched.
scratched, and
Clawed.
clawed at the rodent until he had pulled it apart. He was going to get that bee.
He was going to get that bee. Keep going. What happens?
But lots of bees had made a nest in the hollow log. They were very angry.
So it's not angry.
Hungry. Annoyed. Then when the bear broke their nest, they flew out of the log and buzzed across.
They buzzed crossly
around and around the bear's head. The bears stood.
Yeah, the bear stood up. He stood up
on his two back legs and hit at the Would we run away?
I'd run away. He stood up on his two back legs and hit out.
At the bees, but they just kept on diving on and buzzing around his head.
Right.
They're more around his tummy and head.
They're everywhere. I bet he's getting lots of stings.
Yeah, but he's got fur.
Maybe the fur protects him, yeah. Turn the page and let's find out what happens.
Also,
he's got his eyes and nose and, yeah.
And no fur here.
Imagine if he got a bite on his nose.
He went into water.
Keep reading, honey.
That's the smartest thing to do. Would you,
That is pretty smart.
If there was like 100 bees trying to sting you, would you run down to a river?
I think that's a pretty smart thing, or into a house.
But if you're in the wild?
If I was a bear, yeah, the water would be a good idea.
If you were a person and you're in the wild and there's nowhere else to be, you would run into a river?
Yes. Okay, keep reading now.
The bees stung the bear on his long nose. They flew into his ears and mouth, and they even stung him on his tongue.
On his tongue?
The bear had to get away fast. There was only one thing that he could do to save himself. The bear ran back down to the river and rushed into the water. Some of the bees followed him, but he stayed under the water until they had gone. What if he just peeped his nose out?
They would have stung him on his nose. Next page.
They won't see it.
Maybe. They were looking really hard, really, really worked up. Finish the story.
That day, the bear learned a lesson. He would never forget. He shouldn't have let one small thing make him angry. Then he wouldn't have been hurt so badly. Wait, he got hurt so bad?
He got lots and lots of stings, honey.
What happens if you get too many stings?
Well, if you get too many stings, well, your mouth and face might swell up too much. It would really hurt.
Your face would swell up too much. And then what would happen?